All right, so here we're going to find the slope of the tangent line to the graph of x squared plus 4y squared equals 4 at the point √2, comma, -1 over √2. So it's going to look like something like this. We have an ellipse, and we have a positively sloped line. So we want to find what the slope of that line is. Now, since this is not a function of x, we're going to have to use implicit differentiation, and then we're going to get an equation for dy dx. And then when we have our equation for dy dx, we plug in the √2 for x and -1 over √2 for y. And then it'll give us the value of our slope there. All right, so let's go through this. So we start off, we differentiate x squared like you normally would. Use the power rule, you get 2x. Now, for the y term, you essentially apply the same sort of rule, the power rule. So 4 times 2y, or 2 times 4, so 8y to the 1. But since we're differentiating a y term, we're going to multiply this by dy dx. Now, we said it's equal to the derivative of 4, which is 0. So essentially, we want to solve for dy over dx. And you just want to treat it like it's a term, like it's a variable. And so you can multiply by it, you can divide by it, you can, factor it out. So just solve for this, again, let me put it in parentheses so it stands out a little bit more. We can solve for this. We'll just take away 2x and divide by 8y. So we'll get 8y times dy over dx is equal to -2x divided by 8y. And then we'll get dy dx, not dy, dy dx is equal to -2x over 8y, or you can simplify it as -1/4 y, or negative x over 4y, whichever one. So this is my equation for dy dx. And so all we have to do is now evaluate this equation for this value of x and this value of y. Now it'll give us the value of our slope. So we're going to calculate dy dx of the point √2, comma, -1 over √2. So we plug in √2 for x on top. So we'll get √2 over 4 times -1 over √2. So -4 over √2. So here we just got to make sure we can work our fractions correctly. So let me zoom this up over here. So we can write the top as √2, over 1, and this will be over -4 over √2. So we, multiply by the reciprocal when we're dividing by a fraction. So we'll have √2 over 1 times, flip this, times √2. It's a weird looking √2 over -4. √2 times √2, that'll make the root sign go away. And then so you'll just get 2 over -4, or you'll get just -1/2. Let me zoom that over a little bit. So -2 over 4, and then it'll just be -1/2. And that'll be the value of, well, wait a minute, that's not -1/2. That wouldn't work. Oh, my bad. Okay, I caught my mistake. And this is actually, I did that as a lesson for you guys, because when you look at this graph, you can see that it's a positive slope. But I got a negative number here, and I just found my mistake. I forgot to put -x. So this should be a -√2. And then that'll be -√2. And then you have a negative over a negative, and then this makes a positive. Right. So we get that goes away. So it's +1/2. And then it makes sense. So we're good there.